Hi everybody. Okay, so this is Sunday the 11th of August. I'm streaming later than usual because there's construction on the building opposite and it's really loud. There's like angle grinders, welding, banging going on. It's just impossible. I was doing a voice call with somebody earlier and it was just they couldn't hear me and I couldn't hear them. So now that is later at night, we can discuss this chart. I just want to have a look on the YouTube page and see who's on. Martin, hi there. Melanie, hi. Hi there, Melanie. And our friend Mr. Croquette and Dapper. How you doing, Ben? Okay, so this is good. There's 3 people. There's going to be more. Sorry for being late, nah? That's just logistics. Just logistics. I'm the way that I came back from the gym. That's really something that I advise to anybody for years of my life. I didn't go to gym. I was just watching the charts and making this method and focusing on one thing. You know, I was totally neglecting my body. My everything was deteriorating, and ever since I started going to the gym and started doing intermittent fasting, as promoted to me and explained to me by Ben when he came to Thailand for like a week-long mentoring session. Ever since I started that intermittent fasting and exercising, I'm just like, everything is just improving rapidly in my life. You know, my health, my appearance. When your body starts developing, you just get a different interaction with people. You feel better because you look better, because you're healthy. Your mind is in a healthy state because your body is healthy. So it's a positive reinforcement cycle. It's great. It's great. I recommend it to anybody. You want to change your life? You go to gym. It's as simple as that. You just go to gym every day. Yeah, you'll find things to do there. Don't worry about that. There's enough to do in the gym. As you start messing around, you find things that attract you. You go look on YouTube. The things get explained to you, and it all clicks together into a very progressive, positive change in your life. Right now, I'm not even. Well, I gotta ask, but I'm confident the sound is good. The video is not that good because I'm using the camera built into the laptop. If I switch on the GoPro that's driving the sound, it's gonna become, you're gonna see like a 360 degree view. You're gonna see like a widescreen view of a flat that's busy being packed up because I'm moving out of here into another place. So yeah, I'm just going to use this camera for now, right? It's enough because it's not about my face, it's about the charts we're going to look at. Just another look at who's around. Parlando's, hey Parlando, how you doing? Guys, I'm going to say it again later, but anybody who's on now, I'm discounting these trading camps. I have to. A good friend of mine gave me the advice. Well, I can't say good friend because she's going to be angry with me. My girlfriend gave me the advice that I should drop the price because Bitcoin is not $3,000 or $4,000 anymore. You know, when I first conceived of this trading camp, it's not at that price anymore. So with it being like 3 times the price that it was when I said 1 Bitcoin for the trading camp, now I've got it like at least half or chopped down to 1/3 the price. So I'm currently selling, and it's late subscription is like, it's low season in Thailand. Therefore everything is cheaper to do. The travel is cheaper, everything is cheaper. I can do late bookings, which I've been promoting through Twitter, and I also told you guys about it last week. A late booking means that I can drop the price because people have got to change their lives. It's not an insult to anybody who paid 1 Bitcoin before, when it was $3,000 or $4,000. These guys are paying the same price in dollar terms, and they're having to do it at the last minute. So there's a compromise on both sides, and I'm happy with it. They're happy with it. There's one space left in this in next week's starting next Saturday. There's a workshop here in Thailand. The following month, September the 21st, there's another one. The price for that one is 0.25 Bitcoin. Well, right now it is, depending on how the price changes, that might change as well. Then in October I've got to start ramping it up, because then we go into high season. So that's 0.5 Bitcoin, and then after that is 1 Bitcoin, because I've already taken bookings for those workshops at 1 Bitcoin when price was at these levels. So I cannot, Tone Vase pointed out to me, you cannot discount if other people have paid full price already, and that's absolutely true, you know. But while it's low season now and last minute bookings, I am doing that, and it's fair, I believe. So any of you as members, if you want to come, there's space in the November workshop, there's space in the October workshop, there's space in November, space in the December. It goes from basically like Christmas, just over New Year till the 4th of January. That's a great slot right there, because most people have a holiday. As a cryptocurrency, maybe you're going to get discount there, right? You're not going to pay 1 Bitcoin. You're going to pay less. You negotiate with me, and we'll get to a price that both of us are happy. There's another workshop in January, February, you know, and so on and so on. I'm just going to carry on doing this because this is the way I like to work. I sit with people. We directly interact. We do all the things that you should be doing as a trader. You need to exercise. You need to meditate before you do anything. You need to be intermittent fasting, so that you're either gonna stay at the age that you are, or you're gonna reverse your aging. I want to tell you this. I was on some machine. It's some appliance, right? That it measures your body electricity, and it measures all kinds of things, like the water in your body and everything in relation to things. You give it the basic parameters about your body, and it gives you back a lot of information: your body fat, your obviously your pulse, and your all of that stuff, and it gives you your relative age of your body compared to what your current physical age is. And mine came in younger, and that's from a guy that's been sitting on his backside for 7 years. And before that, when I was a trader, and before that when I was a commodities trader, and before that when I was a system administrator, and I was working 6 hours a day, driving 2 hours a day for like 3 years, right, of my life. Basically, I've been sitting and not exercising and smoking and drinking for the last like 10-12 years of my life. And after I've just been intermittent fasting for like 3 months and exercising this year, I was on that appliance, and it said that my relative age, my body is 35 years, the body of a 35-year-old, right, which is amazing. I know I don't look it, but you should have seen me 6 months ago, right? Well, you guys did. You can do a comparison. And I must say, I feel like 20 times better. I feel 20 times better. I function 20 times better. Everything is just improved. So when you come to the trading camp, we do all those healthy things. It's optional. You don't have to do it, but it's there for you. And we just go straight in, deep end, and we look at market behavior, empirical stuff, evidence-based. What can we see from markets from all times? Not somebody's analysis or theory about the market, or what can we determine from evidence, from history, repeated patterns. We look at that. Then we progress to the Bitcoin market. I will show you that the same things apply. From there, on the third day, we go into how do we take advantage of that? What method do we use to calibrate it, so we know, oh, when it goes into this pattern, into this kind of form that the market takes, what are the signs? And of course, it's going to be the moving averages method, right? These things are all connected. In the end, they all connect into a harmony, that these things are working together. So once we've established the pattern and the form that we're looking for, and we know what the signs are, the signals that herald these patterns forming, then what we need is a money management strategy. How do we trade that in the market, right? And that becomes the practical part. How are you going to trade from now on? What are you not going to do? And what are you going to do? Right? And once you've got that all in place, you can ask Ben in chat. Once you know exactly what you've got to do, there's no doubt. You stop wasting time. You stop hoping. You stop praying. You stop making foolishly throwing money in the market. You know what you've got to wait for. You know what you want to see. And that's when you act. Of course, I teach this on the website and I promote this every day in the Telegram group. Not every day. When I do talk, I say, guys, this is what we're waiting to see. But for now, be patient. And unfortunately, I mean, all of us are not the same degree of patience. You know, you sit in your backside for 7 years looking at the chart. You develop a discipline and patience that you're not going to have if you're running a job and a wife and kids and a house and a mortgage and a car and busy life in the West. You're not gonna you're not gonna focus on what I was able to focus on. And this is what I try and relay to you all, what I saw and how I can relay that to you, what you should do, right, to make yourself profitable in the market. Okay, so enough of that promotion, but I'm encouraging you to come. Don't waste the time. I'm not asking you to pay in dollars. I'm asking you to pay in Bitcoin, right? And it's like 0.25 right now. It's 0.25 Bitcoin. It's not the same as 1 Bitcoin. Okay, so consider it. I'm not doing it because I want to grab your money. I'm doing it because I want to change your life. Right? There's a lot of people subscribing. I don't need your particular money. I want to change your life so that you don't sit on the website and ask me what's going to happen next. Well, because I don't know what's going to happen next. That I mean is ultimately the truth for any analyst, no matter what they tell you. Just nobody knows what's going to happen. You guess, and sometimes you're right. And when you're right, people say, "Oh, this guy's so intelligent. He knows what's going to happen." No, he chose a scenario. He chose to promote a scenario, and eventually that scenario played out. Right? That's not even tea leaf reading. That's just experience meeting with luck. That's what that is. Hello, Paula. Nice to see you. You've been active, Paula. You've been active suddenly. You were quiet for a long time. You need to contact me, Paula, about the custom indicators. I don't know if you've got one on your charts. You've not asked me any questions. I'm here for you to ask me questions and to use me as a resource. So you must do that, okay? People, let's get onto the chart because I don't actually know what's going on there. I watched it drop, and somebody said that was good advice. Somebody has just dropped me a message on Telegram asking what's available. I'm not going to answer right now. I'll answer when I finish the stream. But basically, if you look at the website, it's called not trade.cryptocurrents.net, not where we go to trade and see analysis and all of that and the trade recommendations. If you go to cryptocurrents.net, only that, cryptocurrents.net, you get to a site that's got no SSL anything because there's nothing secret or encrypted on there. You can see the dates, you can see a description of the workshops, you can see exactly where the location is, all of that stuff. It's so easy. I will drop that in Telegram as well when I'm done here. Let's look at the charts. I need to change to screen share. Like that. Okay, here we go. This is the Ethereum chart. Why? Because like if Ethereum had a strong reaction to the upside, basically everything that of yesterday's drop, it was pulling lower before that, but its drop wasn't as severe and it made up the entire drop during the day. So I'm considering that Ethereum wants to go back to this trend line up here, and that's like a move from 210 to 220 roughly, right? And to trade that is more profitable than a similar move in Bitcoin. It's just a matter of how the contracts relate back to dollar price. I explained that during the workshop because it involves some maths and comparisons and stuff that, you know, you can't if I had to write it up as an article or as analysis or try and explain it in the Telegram group, it just gets too complicated. It's something that you need to visually be shown. You need to be shown the calculation for Bitcoin and the calculation for the same distance in Ethereum, and how the contracts get worked out by BitMEX, and how that means you got to, for a similar move in both, you're making more money on Ethereum, because Bitcoin's dollar value that you get paid out decreases as Bitcoin goes up, you know, because it's less Bitcoin you get paid out in Bitcoin, so it's less Bitcoin per contract chunk. That's why it needs a physical face-to-face explanation. That's why I'm looking at Ethereum basically. I'm considering that if there's going to be buy signals, I want to take them in Ethereum. But we're trading the Bitcoin chart. I don't make decisions in Ethereum unless I've verified it in Bitcoin. So let's go back to that. And I'm going to zoom out to 4-hour view. In fact, I'm just going to start right at the top, right? Let's not start in the middle of nowhere. Let's just start with the 1 month chart, and I'm going to go to Bitstamp, right? This is going to mess with the stream a little bit as I change charts and time frames. Okay, so this is Bitstamp now, and you can see that Bitstamp had come down to its 50 month moving average back in 2015, climbed back above the 20 MA, the 20 month moving average, did the same thing from the end of last year through to this year, and now we're basically in the situation that looks like this, the 2016 situation, where we were above the 1 month 20 MA, we were above the 1 week 20 MA, and now it's like this is advanced, and all of the markets saying, yep, it's just it's a bright future, it's all good. I'm a little bit concerned, but it doesn't matter that I'm concerned, because I'm not acting on my concern. I'm not saying, oh, I'm going to short it now because I think it's going to go back down. That's not how we trade. And as we get to the smaller time frames, that becomes evident. Your decision gets made with a stacking of evidence, a stacking of confidence. You don't just make a decision at one time frame and say, this is what it did in the past, so now I can do that again. Well, you don't know. You don't know. But if you see multiple time frames coordinating, then you've got that form that I'm talking about. The form, for instance, one of the forms that I tell you guys is that advance happens above the 20 MA. Now, of course, that's going to be the case. But when I say it happens above the 20 MA, I mean that the 20 MA is also acting as support. So you can see that once price was above this 1 month 20 MA, it never went below that 20 MA. For as long as it stayed above there, the 20 MA was either support or it didn't even get touched. You see, in this case, the 2013 run-up, same thing. There's a strong wick down there, but it doesn't go below the 1 month 20 MA. Back in them days, there was no 1 month 20 MA. Nobody could say, oh, it's reached the 1 month 20 MA, I'm going to buy, right? You know, you see what I'm telling you? You see what I'm pointing out? Many people say, oh, it's because the indicators become self-fulfilling prophecies because everybody's watching that, so everybody's acting on that, so therefore the 20 MA becomes important. No, there was no 20 MA in 2013. It didn't print, right? Whoever was watching that had no, I mean, there it is, it's printed, but nobody had any precedent to say this 20-month MA is going to act as support, because there was no precedent for it. That's the first time it acted as support, right? But you could see that in the 1 week chart, you can see it in the 1 day chart, you can see it in the 4-hour chart, you see it all the way down to the 1 minute chart, that the 20 MA acts as support during an advancing move. Right, so that's one of the forms that we can see from price history. The form that we're currently seeing is that price had gone to the 50 MA, climbed above the 20 MA, so now we would expect the 1 month 20 MA, in this case EMA, to act as support, right? And I believe that it's going to go there at some point. It will go back to this 20 MA of the 1 month chart, and that is around 7,000, right? That's around 7,000. But now I'm not going to short to 7,000. I'm not going to advise you guys, as a trade recommendation, we're shorting to 20,000 because we don't know where this push higher is going to end. We don't know at what time it's going to end. We don't know what it's going to do before it comes back to the 20 MA. That decision we'll make in a different time frame. But in terms of this 1 month time frame, you can clearly see that we're dealing with a situation where either it's gonna continue advancing and find support now and again at 20 MA, or my sort of skeptical scenario is that price is going to reverse and it's going to go drop down below that 20 MA again. If it finds support at 20 MA, we can start thinking about, this advance has got legs, it's got momentum, there's a confidence factor. The 20 MA has acted as support, right? That's a confidence factor. That's a one block in our confidence stack. But right now we've got no confidence stack. We just know that it's above, and therefore we assume that it's going to continue advancing, but at some point test this 20 MA. Okay, so that's 1 month out the way. Let's go to the 1 week, because that's significant. The 1 week shows us the form that I previously mentioned. I've got strict signaling switched on in this MA cross indicator, what I also call the MA signals indicator. And if we zoom out, we don't want to see all of price history. Well, there we got it anyway. You see how the 1 week 20 MA acts as support during an advance, during 2012 into 2013, and then the end of 2013's rally, right? The 20 MA acts as support, as resistance for this decline until June of 2015, at which point price then climbs above the 1 month 20 MA, and then the 1 week 20 MA becomes support. There's no candle close below the 1 week 20 MA from October 2015 until January, until February, okay, I'm going to call it January of 2018. You know, that's 2.5 years of 1 week 20 MA acting as support. That's a form that repeats. There is the form there. There is the form, the beginning of Bitcoin there. There is the form. Right now we've got that form. The 1 week 20 MA has not even been tested. It's not been touched. But the alignment is bullish, right? 20 MA, the green one, 50 MA in blue. There's the 100 MA of the 1 week chart, and there's the red. It's not really visible, but I'm showing you where it is. 200 MA. That's valid alignment. As long as that holds, we just assume that the trend is up, and we take the buy signals, right? And the indicator is biased so that it will give you the signals in the preferred direction. As long as price is above the bigger time frames, 20 MA, the smaller time frame, in this case 1 week, will be giving you buy signals only. It won't show you sell signals. Because why? Because it's a maximum of trading that you don't trade against the trend, right? And what is the direction of trend? It's the side of the 20 MA that's acting as support or resistance. So right now the form is telling us that this is an advancing market, so we just go with it. Trend is our friend, right? That's a evidence-based, historical precedent, form and pattern-based reality check, and we do that. We do that because when we work with reality and not dreams and forecasts and predictions and lots of squiggly lines and complicated indicators, if we just look at what the moving averages are telling us about the motion of trend, we have it. It's there for us to see. That's the 1 week chart. It's bullish. Price is being supported by the 20 MA. In fact, 20 MA has not been tested. At some point it will be tested. It's currently at about 8,500. We know that the 1 month 20 MA needs to be tested near 7,000. So there's some range there. It's going to be difficult to trade because we want the 1 day to give us a sell signal, and then we trade the 4-hour signal to the downside, right? So that's going to take a while to develop, and if it happens too fast, it means we can't trade it, right? And we don't cry about that. We don't lament the fact. We don't ash and sackcloth about that, because if we're being methodical, why would we make an exception to our method because of some expectation? Oh, it's gonna return to 8,500. Well, that's the expectation, but only if we get a signal, a strict signal towards 8,500 do we trade it. Are we going to get it? We don't know, because the dominant direction of trend in the 1 month chart and 1 week chart is up. Let's leave the 1 week chart and we go to the 1 day chart. I'm just going to quickly check on I'm going to quickly just check in the chat in case there's sound problems or anyone's got a question up to this point. We're now in the 1 day chart. We're still in the same chart. Just give me a minute. YouTube. Paula says she knows. She didn't really. She'd taken time off. No problem. That's fine, Paula. No castigation. You're not a bad girl. You're a good girl. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, so 10 people are watching. The stream status is good. Nobody has complained about Guppy Puffy is who? Hello. Okay. Hi, Guppy Puffy. So everything's good. I'm just going to carry on with the analysis. Since I'm here, can anybody, if anyone's got a question, you can give it to me now. Something you saw on the chart or any unrelated question. Taking a break after analyzing, after looking at the moving averages, the form of the moving averages, the form of the market in the 1 month chart and 1 week chart. Anybody got a question? Give it to me. What I'm going to do while you guys potentially write a question is I'm going to roll up palm leaf and put tobacco in it, okay? Martin asks, hey Martin, nice to see you. It's Gilbert. Guppy Puffy is Gilbert. Welcome again, Gilbert. Just signed up. Gilbert saw the ads for the I think Gilbert saw me on Tone's show. Right. Martin, you're asking if we can do a webinar for people that can't make the camp. You know what? We probably could. I'm not going to say no, we can't. In my mind, it's like, no, I want to sit down with you. I want to break the bread around the table. We look at it and our eyes meet and I see the light switch on, right? That's different from a webinar, because a webinar is like this. I'm chatting and you're asking me questions. But there's certain things I cannot explain unless I've got a tablet on which I can draw and then start expanding ideas and make mind maps and things. I'm a very visual person. The market is very visual because the indicator that we're using, and most indicators are visual too. We're getting visual cues as to what the market's going to do, not fundamental cues, not news event cues, not any of those things that people think moves the market. What moves the market is an invisible force that we can't see. All that we can see, the only way, it's like when the wind blows up dust, you can see the wind by the dust. The market is the dust. You can see this force by what the market is doing, but you cannot then say, oh, it's the news that's driving the market, or it's fundamentals that's driving the market, because the fundamentals are not invisible. There's another something which I call social mood, which is a very strange subconscious collective force that's moving the market. Now, to get into those kind of discussions in a webinar, you can, but it's potentially dry and not as alive and as kind of in your face and mentally visible as when we're swimming in the Andaman Sea and talking about these things and finding real life examples of these things. You see, that's the difference. That's the difference between a webinar and me and you and a few other people physically being in the same space. If you cannot make the webinar, I want to question that. Like, I know everyone's got a reason why they do things, but I also feel that it's appropriate of me as your teacher, as your mentor, to ask you, why can't you do that? Once in a lifetime holiday in one of the most beautiful places on earth. We don't know how long this earth is going to last. You don't know how long your life is going to last. You should, for 0.25 Bitcoin, you should really think about it. And you can bring your family as well. You can bring your whole family, man. I'm okay with that. There's enough space. There's enough beach and sunlight and fruit. You can bring your family. It doesn't need to be just you. It's 8 days from Saturday until the next Sunday or the next Saturday, so that by the time you get home it's Sunday and you can go to work on Monday, if that's the constraint. Really consider it, man. Consider it. I will consider the webinar, and I will certainly, if I find that there's enough demand for it, I will certainly try it. But you can ask Ben, you can ask Shadi, you can ask Kent, who are members who have come to Thailand, and we've spent time together, and it's been alive. We were alive, and we saw the things, and we saw the patterns in nature too, because we were so deep in the discussion that was necessary that everything became the market and the forces that are shaping the market. You just have those magic moments that a webinar doesn't give you. Miltos, who I think is now not online, but he's a member and he's in the Telegram group, me and him did this trading camp thing online and via Zoom, so we were physically seeing each other and screen sharing and so on. I was okay, but I can tell you it's not the same thing. Okay, so I'm laboring the point. I just wanted to see you. Yeah, live video chat. Yeah. Consider coming though. It's not, relatively speaking, it's not that expensive, and you can bring as many people as you want, and it's going to change your life, man. It's not that I'm going to change your life. It's just that I'm going to point my finger at things that are going to change your life, because I spent 7 years encountering those things, but it took me 7 years. I'll give it to you in 7 days. Right, I'm going to give it to you in 7 days, and you're going to be in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Puppy Puffy says, do you think that the move up is organic and not driven by the tether pump, i.e. just take a look at the tether and Bitcoin volume, where both are pretty similar? Sometimes there are correlations, like in 2013 November, Bitcoin price was at $1,200, the highest it ever was, and also the after a move that was the first of its kind, of its size in the history of markets, right? And it was just a mind-blowing moment. And it took like 3 months, or less. It just like went from like $100 to $1,200. Nothing had ever done that. And then suddenly it crashed, right? And then what people said is like, the blame, the way that people blame, it's like the first thing when you get shocked, you've got to blame it on somebody. People said that the market crashed because People's Bank of China banned Bitcoin in China, right? And it's true, the People's Bank of China, PBOC, did ban Bitcoin exchange in China. They didn't ban Bitcoin, but they banned the exchange of Bitcoin for Chinese yuan, right? So you could like say, well, yeah, that's what caused the crash. The market suddenly sobered up to regulation and control, right? But if you really look at it, and I did an article about it back in the day, the market crash started 4 days before China made that announcement. So what I'm saying is that sometimes the same way that buses come in threes, or the same that like several bad events happen at the same time, or several good events happen at the same time, sometimes one thing happens and people say this is the cause of this other thing. So as you're saying, the tether pump is causing Bitcoin to move higher. But I would put it to you a different way. I'd say that the tether pump is being inspired by the Bitcoin move higher, right? That's one explanation, and it's difficult to disprove that. As difficult as it is to prove that the tether pump is causing Bitcoin, you can say is causing the Bitcoin advance. It's as difficult to prove or disprove that the Bitcoin advance is inspiring the tether pump, right? So that's one way of looking at it. But if we boil it down to evidence-based reality, right, away from speculation and fundamentals and tea leaves and crystal balls and all of that, if we just come to evidence-based reality, the only thing that we can say with 100% confidence is that some force is pushing Bitcoin, is causing people to be in a buying mode, is causing people to engage in buying behavior, right? Some force. And so it's not a magic force, it's an attitude. Any behavior comes from an attitude, right? That's plain psychology, behavioral, cognitive. First you have an attitude, which translates into a behavior. So if many things are pumping, if many things are advancing, it's not because of some other thing that's also pumping, that's making them all to pump. What it is, it's the attitude of people, the social mood is translating into buying behavior, and the buying behavior is manifesting as Bitcoin advancing, tether pumping, the shit coins pumping, into Justin Sun, whatever he says, everyone's happy about it, into Facebook releasing a centralized private blockchain, right? Facebook launching that, calling it a cryptocurrency, and everyone saying this is great, this is good, because when your attitude is positive, everything looks good, right? Even bad news is good news to a market that is in positive social mood. That's my explanation of it. Now, the strange thing about that explanation is it doesn't explain anything, because it doesn't try to trace causality between things. It's just saying that there is this positive social mood for some reason. That thing, what makes the social mood, the collective mood, positive or negative, that's something else. That becomes mystical. We can't know what makes that. Right. That's a collective consciousness that becomes mysterious. But I argue, and Ralph Elliott argues, and Elliott Wave International argues, that is that collective consciousness. It's a collective subconsciousness is what drives all of these things, not individual things. Not this thing is driving that thing. No, they all happen at the same time. It's like a rising tide lifts all boats, right? That's my explanation right there. That's the only thing we can say confidently. Anything else is tentative. Okay, back to the chart, and I need to go back to screen share. Sorry, you guys have to look at my mug when I'm doing these inspired speeches, man. Okay. By the way, talking about inspired speeches, I'm gonna be doing a show with Sean Stiller. I did tell you guys about it previously. Slowly but surely, we're gonna bring it online. It's gonna be really like well done. It's gonna be a professional show with like, you know, it's not gonna be. It's gonna not be. It's gonna be the quality of CNN without being CNN. It'll have more character and interesting aspects, but it'll be done with a professional media studio and graphic designers and video equipment to make fades and shifts, and it's gonna be magazine style. We'll fire off. We'll have a discussion about one thing, change topic, a little bit of price discussion, but mostly opinions and discussions about many things, you know. For example, the red pill, you know. How is the market just like a woman? Have you ever thought about that? See, all these males trading this thing called the market, right? And they bring all this emotion to the table, to this lady called market. Think about that. There's a whole discussion right there, you know, especially related to red pill and alpha male and beta male. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Okay, we're at the 1 day chart. This is Bitstamp. Let me double check that I'm in screen share mode. Yes, I am. Here we stuck just above 6,000. Then we dropped through it. There was the trading opportunity right there, because this drop you couldn't believe at first. It gave you a 4-hour signal, but it was like the 20th 4-hour sell signal, so why would you take it, right? But once it then actually dropped through the support, it stopped there for a while, and now you started getting combination signals to the downside, and that's where we traded it from. That was from like 5,500, and the trade I think lasted to down here, and this spike up cancelled it out. Then we went into a few months of sideways. It was very painful, much more painful than what we're experiencing right now. And then steady advance since about March, steady advance above the 1 day 20 MA, right? Steady advance above the 1 day 20 MA. A test of it over here, spike below, but the price closes above. We stopped out there. It's okay that we stopped out, because all of this correction afterwards is a mess, right? You don't want to trade it. Here the MAs become positively aligned. Prices on the right side of all of them. Getting a 4-hour buy signal, you're getting 1 hour 15-minute confirmations. That's in June, right? Another good trade along here, stop out eventually, and we're still in a mess. It's still in a mess. The MAs are correctly aligned in the 1 day chart. The 20 MA has not yet been tested. A little bit yesterday. It was tested a little bit yesterday, the 1 day 20 EMA. But we're basically undecided, and so the one day chart for us is also bullish, right? But we're seeing that either we must now advance, or we need more tests of the 1 day 20 MA to advance, in order to advance. If this 1 day 20 MA breaks, if it gives up support, right, then the best we can say is we're on our way back towards support here at 9,000, right? 9,400, possibly 9,000. That's as much as we could say. Is there a trade in it? Well, if price is below the 1 day 20 MA and we get a 4-hour sell signal, and then there's a 1-hour sell signal and a 15-minute to get us in, leverage traders might consider taking that. Leverage traders might consider taking that. But until we get a 1 day sell signal, 20 MA of the 1 day chart crossing below the blue 50 MA of the 1 day chart, non-leverage traders, buy and holders, everybody in that camp don't need to do anything, right? You don't need to do anything, because methodically we cannot know what price will do until we get a signal to tell us, well, now there's sufficient downward momentum to have caused a signal, so now we consider taking that. And that's when you, as a non-leverage trader, as a buy and holder, would shift your allocation towards fiat, because now you want less Bitcoin and more fiat, because you're anticipating buying back your Bitcoin lower, right? But until we get a 1 day sell signal, you just don't worry. You just stay allocated 50-50, right? And you're market neutral, right? So that's money management right there. Let's go drop down to the 4-hour chart, because this is the one where we make our decisions. Right, and there's been very few decisions to make here because we're range bound. So I'm at this point, I'm going to switch on some annotations that I've been drawing in here. Remember, this is strict signaling, so you're only seeing buy signals, right? There's no sell signals. There is in fact a sell signal there, but it's not being indicated on this in this 4-hour chart because I switched on strict signaling. You can't take a 4-hour sell signal above the 1 day 20 MA and above the 4-hour 200 MA. You see this red line here with that acted as support there. It happens that this move was very strong and long down to the 50 MA of the 1 day chart, but you just didn't have any reason to trust that it was going to do that, to even know that it was going to go that far, right? So in terms of this chart, I'm pointing out that there are only buy signals because the dominant direction from the 1 month chart, from the 1 week chart, from the 1 day chart, the dominant direction of the trend remains up at all three of those major time frames. Here we are in the 4-hour chart, and we're getting a buy that was kind of, I wish I had the balls to say to everybody, it's not methodical, but let's take it, because it ended up moving really well, finding support at 20 MA there of the 4-hour chart, finding support and eventually stopping out. But you had a move of like from 10,000 to 11,500 until you got stopped out. That's a good trade, but we couldn't take it because the signal didn't happen. It's signaling here because price is above the 1 day 20 MA, but the signal didn't happen above the 1 day 20 MA. So I was skeptical. I was like, everyone, just wait, just hold, just wait. So we missed a kind of $1,400 move there, right? It's not a trending move because right now we're back into a correction, right? And the 4-hour 20 MA support has broken. It broke yesterday when price dropped all the way through there. So right now, what's the most we can say? I'm going to switch on the annotations. Oh, because we're in Bitstamp, it's not showing. I'm going to BitMEX. Right, so in BitMEX we've got a resistance up there. My advice is wait for price to break that resistance up there. This green line that's coming from the top. Right. All in all, we see that we're in a sort of a triangle, expanding triangle coming down. You see this from the top. That's the top in late June. You got 3 waves down, so that's A. You got 3 waves up, so that's B. You got more or less, it looks like 5 waves down, But let's say that this is an A, B, C, right? So you've got to move down, that would be wave C, and then you've got 3 waves up again, A, B, C. So all in all, from the top left, we've got A, B, C down, D up, and now we could go down in a wave E, back down to this green lower triangle barrier. That could get us down to 8,000, conceivably, if price can get below this level, which is at 9,000. Right, so what we need here, we need a 4-hour sell signal below the 1-day 20 MA. It's feasible, it's possible. Right now, we're getting support at 11,200. This little green line here that I'm highlighting. And that's just above the 1-day 20 MA. So, a 4-hour sell signal is not going to be below, is not going to happen below the 1-day 20 MA. There's the 20 MA, there's the 50 MA up there at the current levels of the 4-hour chart. If price sinks now, the signal is going to be above the 1-day 20 MA, this one, right? So we'd wait for price to, all these waves come down, up and down in 3, right? There's it, A, B, C, going up, A, B, C, coming down, A, I'm saying that this is A, B, C, so that's A, B to there, and then C down. Then go up in 3 waves again, A, B, C. So when we come down, it'll likely be in 3 waves as well. So this is wave A unfolding now. Then we're going to have wave B push back up, and then a wave C come down to the either 9,000 or 8,000. That's the one we want to trade. Not the wave that's currently going down, because we don't know what this wave is doing. We don't know if it's just going to find support here at 11,200 and then break above that triangle barrier and push higher, or if it's going to now drop, come back up, and then go down. At that stage, if it does come down again, that's when we'll have a 4-hour sell signal below the 1-day 20 MA, and that's the one we want to take. There's a trade there, but it's weeks away, right? It's several days or a week or 2 away. So we'll have to wait for that. Methodically, realistically, based on technical evidence, there's no trade right now. We could speak about what might happen, create scenarios of this. The dominant scenario I see is 3 waves down, and I'm saying that if 3rd wave happens, methodically it'll be signaled correctly and we can take that. But before then, we just don't know. So patience, wait for it. Going down to 1 hour, 15 minutes and so on is not necessary, because here in the 4-hour chart, whereas the 1 month, 1 week, 1 day was bullish, here in the 4-hour chart we see that there's some confusion. Right? If I switch off the annotations and zoom out, we see that the 4-hour chart is not resolved into a direction. Price is not making higher highs. Since this high, we've had lower lows, we've had lower highs. This is a lower high as well. So that in itself tells us that this is a correction going on, not a decline, a correction. I'm feeling okay with the fact that there might be more downside, even up to 7,000 or less, but I don't see that. I don't see that as a reason to turn bearish on Bitcoin just yet. We'll turn bearish when the 1 day and perhaps 1 week turn bearish. We'll turn short-term bearish. But for now, we wait for this confusion in 4-hour chart to play out. Observe the moving averages. You see where we start from down there, from extreme compression, extreme compression in the bottom left. Price switches side, the moving averages switch side, and then the advance begins. A little bit of compression here, a return to compression over there. Price switched sides, but now it's back in bullish alignment in the 4-hour chart. But there's some equilibrium being sought, right? Price is not just going to flip from this side to that side and advance. Its amplitude of change is gonna narrow down. The volatility is gonna drop. The MAs are gonna compress somewhere around here. I'm saying maybe between 10,000 and 11,000, some MA compression, and then the next move, right? Then the next move higher. If price must now first come back down to 7,000, then the compression is probably going to happen at like 8,000-9,000. These MAs will draw, the 4-hour MAs will draw lower, and the 1-day MAs to consolidate around that, and then the next push higher. But this to me does not look like decline, because it's 3 waves coming down, right? If anything, we could carry on advancing, but I'm not making a call to trade right now. I'm making a call for everyone to relax, sit back, sit on your hands, don't do anything. I know there's a lot of chitter and chatter on the Telegram and in the groups and in Twitter and all of that, and every trader is, busy. Every analyst is busy and things, but we've got a method that looks at many time frames that tells us very slowly but very steadily what is going on. We don't need to worry about Bitcoin's hash rate. We don't need to worry about the news. We don't need to worry about fundamentals. The only fundamental fact that we know is that Bitcoin is the shizness, right? It's the most secure and mathematically provable secure method of storing wealth and storing value and storing just Bitcoin, no matter what the price of a Bitcoin. Just to store the Bitcoin is the most secure digital method of transmitting and holding value. That's the fundamental of Bitcoin. It's got a brilliant team of developers. It's got a decentralized governance model in its development. Bitcoin is fine. That's all that we care about fundamentally. Other factors changing do not change the price. In the long run, the price is on an upward trajectory, right? It might be a very long run, but that's the direction. So we don't worry about anybody else's analysis. It's interesting. I watch some analysis and it's interesting. I'm like, wow, that's really an interesting way of looking at it. Guys do fib analysis and all of that. I'm also into that, but I like my life so simple. When it starts feeling complicated and I start biting my nails, I know it's time to, when there are too many, contingencies on it. Well, if this happens, then that'll happen. Then if it becomes like that, I lose interest. If it's clear and simple and it rings like a bell, that's what I want, right? And that happens every now and again. You see there? That's what I want to trade. I don't care what's going on in the news or in Tether or in anything. When that happens right there and price starts moving higher, you can just see it, man. There's no interpretation necessary. There's no interpretation necessary at this stage. You don't need an analyst to tell you. You don't need a weatherman to tell you which way the wind blows. You just go stand outside, you feel it. That's what happens right there. You don't need me to tell you this is the right time to trade. You can feel it in your bones. It's in the air. It's in the collective consciousness. It's going up, right? This was potentially one of those scenarios until the 20 MA broke yesterday, and there was no momentum. There was not a higher high. We need a higher high for us to believe that there is advance. You see, these highs over here, they're higher highs, then a break. Then there is a signal, a buy signal in the 1-day and 4-hour charts. There's the series of higher highs. That's when we want to get in, right? And that's when me and Ben were sitting together, and that's when we got in, because we were both like, it's going up. That's all. It's just buy signals all over the place. Look at the chart, right? That same scenario played out. There's the higher high, right? Here we did not make a higher high, which was why I was in Telegram telling you guys, wait, don't pull the trigger, just wait. Right, just wait. We want that higher high. That's what drew that line up there. If you can just even make a marginal higher high and stay above the resistance, well then we can start believing the signals. But as things stand, we had no reason to trade long. We wanted to trade long. We're ready to trade long. That's what the MAs are telling us is the direction. But look, a break of the 1 day 20 MA. Oh, so now we're back to the drawing board, blank slate. So now we want to see what's going to happen next. All right, so there's nothing to do. I hope that all of this is informative to you, that you learn how to look at the chart, how to interpret these MAs, and just relax, man. The more relaxed you are as a trader, the more time you've got. The more time you've got, the more you pick and choose your trades. Right? You're not ever feeling ants in your pants to trade. You just want to relax and wait for it, because when it becomes evident, it's suddenly very evident. You see there where I'm circling the cursor, you see there? It suddenly becomes very evident what's going on. This was very evident. It seemed like this is one of them as well. You know, I was keen and I was like, damn, that signal is just on the wrong, that buy signal, let me zoom out. See, that buy signal is just in the wrong place, man. It's just short of perfect. And then I was like, well, okay, if that's going to be the case, let's wait for a higher high. It didn't come. And that's experience. That's not me, somebody telling me or me learning anyway. That's just experience. Me looking at the chart and saying, when there's indeed an advance, we will get a higher high. That's the form and the pattern. We didn't get it. So now I hope that all of this helps you to know that you're fine. Just relax. You don't have to listen to anybody's commentary or analysis or advice. You just look at these MAs, you can see into the past and know what to expect in the future, right? Yeah, there's no reason to bite your fingers, to experience FOMO, or to worry about anything. This is the easiest thing in the world if you're just patient, right? People, I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to go back to the screen to see any questions and discuss some of that. But it's already like 10 o'clock at night for me. I want to show you my mug. You guys can look at this. Okay, so why does it look like there's Vaseline on the screen? Is that just because I'm shiny from gym, I think. Okay, so that, and then look at YouTube. Guppy saying he took that trade, best ever. Which one? The one from the trade? The trade from about 10,000, right? There was a signal there. Anybody got some questions or commentary, or I even like insults. Test my character. Give me anything. I think all of you will fall asleep already. Yeah, still 10 people. 1 hour. That's good going, man. I enjoy these live streams. I just wish I had a better venue to do them. You know, like I'm in Thailand and it's so beautiful. If I could be outside under a palm tree and like with some wildlife, you know, or some fruit trees like swinging there, that would be really nice. But it's just that there isn't electricity there. Or more updates in the group. You mean in the group, Martin? You mean in the group channel, like in Telegram, or how do you mean more updates in the group? Just qualify that for me. Okay, somebody asked. Oh, it's not a member of Cryptocurrents. That's why it didn't come up in the group. More updates in the group. Martin, just qualify that for me. What does that mean? More updates in the group. like in the Telegram group, in the Cryptocurrents Telegram group. Daily updates from me. Okay. Yeah. You know what? If you ask me that, I can give you that. I can give you daily updates from me. I appreciate that that would be useful to you, but I also want to explain to you that how I operate. I'm a Linux system administrator, right? That of my many qualifications and abilities, Linux system administration was what Linux formed my philosophy when I came like um, from Apple and learning to program and being a kid in the 80s, learning computers and Windows and all that. When I started in 2000 to learn in the year 2000 to learn Linux, it formed me new. And one of the sort of maxims in Linux is if something is good, right? If something is good, if it's as expected, Linux doesn't give you any feedback. So you can type a command like, get this file and store it somewhere. And Linux will do that. And if everything is like fine, if it happened the way it's supposed to be, the way you expected, you get no feedback on the command line. It just gives you the next command prompt. It's like, yeah, okay, that's done. However, if there's a problem, if there's an error or there's some kind of, error code, it could be many things, then Linux gives you then the Linux shell gives you a feedback. It says there's a problem. Like, I don't know what it might say, I don't know what the problem is, but it's got this code. Then you can start doing research about what went wrong. Or because I couldn't find the file, or I couldn't store the file. I operate the group like that. If everything's as expected, in other words, if we've been saying we're waiting for price to go above this level before we take any action, and price doesn't go above that level, I just say nothing, because that condition persists. Our expectation remains the same. If there is then a situation whereby things change contrary to our expectation, that's when I've got to say something, right? Then I've got to say, well, now price is above that level, we need to take action, or price has done something else. This is now the new expectation, or this is how it changes our expectation. So with that in mind, what I just told you, like, if everything's fine, if it's going by expectation, I don't say anything. But if there's a change to our ongoing expectation, I will comment. And I will do that daily if necessary, because why not? I look at the chart daily, I look at the Telegram group daily, I read or anybody's in or every message. I might as well just say, everything is as expected, so no change. Remain as you are. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. Fair enough. Yeah. It just means less chatter. It just means less chatter, because what happens when you start commenting every day, I've found, it kind of becomes like pointless waffle. You're like, oh, there's a slight move from there to there. It might change from that. It's just like when it's cut and dry. Like, we're in a channel until price moves out of the channel. There's nothing for us to do. If we're going to go into decline, we're only going to trade the third wave of decline. So let's see what happens. I'm not going to comment on the first wave of decline. I might comment towards the end of the second wave of correction, and then say, well, if we go into a third wave of decline, are we going to get a buy signal? Let's prepare for that. That kind of talk makes sense because it prepares us for action. But just waffling about price, it's kind of pointless. I don't want to waste your guys' time. I don't want to waste my time. If it's important, if there's a material change in the market, I'll always comment, unless I'm sleeping. Unless I'm a sleeper when it happens. I just find that's like the most mature and respectful way to do it. If you guys feel the same way, I'm happy. If somebody says like, yeah, but I would like to have daily feedback, then I feel that's fair as well. You know, it's not exactly the way I'd like to operate, but I could, if it gives more people a sense of security that I've commented and confirmed what I've been saying all along. That's great. Why not? Okay, people, that's an hour and some minutes there. I wish that I could say like, yeah, we're just buying, man. It's alignment made easy. Any update on making a BitMEX leverage trading tutorial? I've been making practice trades on the test BitMEX site, and I think I have a feel for it, but would love a tutorial for more confidence. Ooh, you know what? Alignment made easy. I said that I would do it. I said that I think it's worth it. It's just to find the time. Because I've got to create that test account. I've then got to set it up, and I've kind of got to script what I'm going to do, right? What I might do, what I think would be, what I'm saying to you is that it's something I want to do. I feel that it will be useful to everybody. It's certainly something I can do, therefore I should do it. Because informationally it'll have a lot of value for a long time for every new member and anybody who just wants to check their practice on BitMEX. But what I'm saying is it involves quite a lot of effort. It involves like a day's worth of planning and scripting and doing and re-recording and editing and checking. There might be an error, I lose connectivity, or the unexpected thing happens on the platform, then we'll restart again, right? Potentially it's going to take a while, a day or more, right? 2 days max, I reckon, which I just don't have at the moment. What I am prepared to do is on the day when I do leverage trading at the workshop, not next week, but the week after, it'll be like around about Thursday, Friday, 2 weeks from now, I can record that session. I can just switch on record on my screen. I just do a screen recording that'll also catch my voice, and as I take the group in the trading camp through leverage trading, how to use the entry position calculator, how to action it in BitMEX, the exact steps to do your trading checklist, I could record that. It might end up being like a 3-hour video, which I can break up into chapters. That would kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because then it means I can script for that day and then make the recording and hit 2 groups with it. You guys online and those guys in person. I'm prepared to do that. I'm going to set about doing that. I hope that you can wait 2 weeks. Leverage trading is difficult. It takes a while to bend your head around it. You also have to understand really what you're looking at when you're looking at the order book and at the orders going through. You know, because you got passive traders who are putting like limit and stop orders, and you got active traders who are executing market orders. That's what's pushing the price around, and you got to understand what's going on in the market. You can never know what's going on in the market, but you can understand who's active and who's passive, and that's useful. So I'll get into those explanations and make probably a 3-hour session that I teach, and then break that into chapters. That's what I can do. Martin also likes it. No alignment. I didn't address it earlier. I did not address that particular thing earlier. And no problem. I don't mind answering the same question twice. You know, as long as it's informational, man. 5 people can ask me the same question in a row, because every time I answer it, it might have variation, or it might make somebody understand better. That's fine. That's fine. Great. Just wait for 2 weeks for that session. Yeah. Okay, people. I'm gonna call it a night there. I need to shower. I've now got muscle ache from sitting for a while. It's getting cooler. I hope that everybody had I hope that this was interesting. There were some interesting things certainly that were discussed, and it was nice to look at the long-term charts, the bigger time frames, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, what's going on. That hasn't changed, but it's nice to review it and see that it hasn't changed. In fact, it's more entrenched now. The only way that it's going to change drastically is if price drops like a stone. Really like a $2,000-3,000 drop, which can happen in Bitcoin. Don't ever think that your money is safe with these, like sitting with open position. Have your stop losses in place. This thing can spike up, it can spike down. It can just change, like either because somebody made an error or because there's a lot of emotion and a lot of drama in this particular chart. So just be careful. Don't assume that this quiet is going to hold. Never be reckless in the market. Always have your stop losses in place. Only act on signals. Only trade in the direction of trend. That's how you're going to survive this. This is how you're going to make money. That's how you're going to make money. You'll never wipe out, and with whatever money you've got left over, once you do get in a trend, it's going to make you a lot of money, right? Then you're going to start telling yourself, why did I do all that foolishness before? Why did I do that foolishness? If I had only saved that money and not compulsively traded 3 times a day, taking every 5 and 15 minute signal when there wasn't a trend, if I used that money when the trend became undeniable, when I talk about a compelling signal, right? This is what I'm talking about. You see that signal there? That's compelling, man. That's a compelling signal. Because it just suddenly becomes evident, like, oh my God, this thing is going up. Especially once you get that higher high, and then your correction after that, and the 20 MA holds support, as what happened here as well. There's your signal. There's your signal. 20 MA hold support for like several days, and then suddenly there's a spike up. So when the thing becomes compelling, that's when you want to trade it. Save your entries for then. Save your entries for then. As it's advancing here, there's so many opportunities to enter. Basically, you can just enter long at any of these moments, and you probably going to turn a profit than if you're going to try and trade long during when there's this washing machine effect going on, like up here. When things are uncertain, you're like, oh, I think it's going to reverse now, but you've got no signal, you've got no evidence of trend. Those are the times you don't want to trade. Just leave it. Just make your life easy, man. Guys, make your life easy. Make it easy. Like, why you want to make it difficult? Right? It seems so self-evident. Like, just make it easy. Go for the easy options. When it starts raining, that's the time you say, bookie, I'm betting on rain. Right? He can't refuse you in the market. Nobody can refuse you your bet. When it's like advancing, you say, I bet on advance. Who's going to stop you? It's not a casino. They're not going to call last bets and you say, oh, now you can't bet on advance anymore. You just can't. We're not going to allow you to bet on advance. In the market, you can bet on advance when it's established already, and that's when you want to do that, right? Not when it's uncertain. Okay, good people. You're good. I'm good. Everybody keep well. I'm gonna. Oh, I made those examples and you couldn't see them. Let me show you again. Screen share. Let me show you again. When we talk about compelling signals, right? I said this one. That's a compelling signal. Right there, 4-hour chart, compelling. Now, once you get that 4-hour signal and things are just advancing, especially one that makes that higher high, right there, and then the 20 MA of 4-hour chart holds support and all the MAs are correctly aligned, you just don't doubt it, man. You in fact, you become cautious. You're like, ooh, I don't know if I should trade this. Everything is pointing up and you're like, ooh, I'm not sure now, because it's so self-evident that you can't believe it, right? It's not like when it's going down here and you're like, ooh, I think now I'm going to go the opposite direction of trend. It's not that kind of foolishness. Here it becomes compelling. This is why I call it compelling signal and a compelling moment to trade. Similarly down here, there's your signal, there's your crossover, a higher high, consolidation above the 20 MA after that, advance after advance after advance. There's so many opportunities. Get in, you just get in, you're going to win, right? But you'll find yourself being like super conservative when this stage of trend happens. You're like, oh, I don't know now, I'm going to be cautious, which is something you're not when this is happening. When it's like a washing machine and chop, you're like, oh, I think now it's going to spike to the upside, and it just never does. There's another compelling signal down there, right? There's your crossover, price establishes and holds above the 20 MA, eventually it spikes. Right. Okay people, so that's what I wanted to show you. That's the message for today. I'm gonna now close the I'm gonna close this live stream out. Good luck to everybody. Have a nice evening. See you in Telegram. I hope to see many of you in the workshops. Contact me about that and we do them. Okay people, until next week. Bye for now.